Last chapter, working with others. I call this chapter the works of faith. By now, you've received a new spirit. You've been inwardly reorganized. You've taken the steps. You're working on a new program and a new path, and this is going to tell us how to stay on that beam. Practical experience. I'm on page 89, paragraph 1. Practical experience shows that nothing will so much as ensure immunity. Immunity means that we are not going to acquire a disease again. It means that we are not going to get infected again. So if you do this thing, which it's about to tell us, we are immune from drinking again. As intense work with another alcoholics. Pick up this book, read it to somebody, explain it to somebody, share how God has changed your life and the practices that you use in your life today. And that is how we stay close to God. That is how we serve God. Love the Lord your God with your heart, mind, and soul. Love your neighbor as yourself. How do you love your neighbor? You spend time with your neighbor. You help your neighbor. Carry this message. That's the message. Help others. You can help when no one else can. You can secure their confidence when others have failed. By now, you've learned so much about the strange mental blank spot to figure out whether somebody's a real alcoholic or not. The real alcoholic must have your solution. Other kinds of drinkers may not. Separate the wheat from the chaff and get the people who God's designed for you to help. Don't waste time on folks that don't want to help themselves. You can't. Alcohol will make them willing at some point. Remember, they're very ill. And God wants us to be free. Life will take new meaning. To watch people recover, to be restored to health, to be whole and complete, to see them help others. Bang! Now a guy that you help is helping somebody else. There's a chain reaction that's amazing. To watch loneliness vanish, to see a fellowship grow up amongst you. You will have men that you'll walk and women through your whole life with. Relationships that will never, ever fade. Your first sponsee will be your best friend on the planet. That was my experience. Men all over the place that you've talked to, you've helped. It's unbelievable what we get when we do this thing. You are about to have a host of friends. This is an experience you must not miss. Must. We know you will not want to miss. It is frequent contact with who? The newcomer. What do we do to those guys today? Put your hand up in the air. Those are the guys that'll sponsor you. You go talk to them afterwards. These guys chased them down like they were, some kind of serum, right? I get a newcomer, I'm okay. I'll grab them and take them and hustle them. And, I started going to the rescue mission 20 years ago because it was like shooting fish in a pond. Everybody there was willing. I could just shoot. Come here, you're new. Let me take you home. Come here, I'm going to teach you this thing. Come on. Is there a rescue mission around here? Get down there. A hospital, institution is a bright spot in our lives. Perhaps we're not acquainted with any drinkers who want to recover. Look at that. There are lots of drinkers in those rooms. They don't all want to recover. Everybody's looking for an easier, softer way. The man with the real answer's got to find the man that needs the answer that you have. Bill Wilson defines that as a real alcoholic. Got the trifecta. Now watch what it says here, because I was doing a little bit of this earlier. You can easily find some by asking a few doctors, ministers, priests, or hospitals. They will be only too glad to assist you. Go to the sources. We're lazy. We want to just go to a meeting and hang out. Maybe somebody will come. Maybe they won't. Maybe I'll share something and look good. Maybe I could be a grand poobah somewhere. Don't start out as an evangelist or a reformer. Slowly unfold God's plan. Tell him about the disease. When you talk about what you know in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous and places, focus on the disease. Focus on the pages that you understand. Focus on the things that have hit your heart. Learn this book inside and out, and you'll learn how to share it. If you go into another man's world trying to change what they're doing, forget it. We're a man of peace. We walk in looking for another man of peace. You walk into a meeting, you're going to make a friend, people are going to see you're different, they're going to want what you have, and you'll be able to be effective with some of the people that are there. And the others will just be fine. We don't go in trying to change Alcoholics Anonymous because we've got some special understanding of what the founders did because we sat in and, studied this. We go in to be effective. Yes. That's right. Walk beside them. Till the soil. Yeah, where does it say, unfortunately? Ministers and doctors are competent. You can learn much from them if you wish. But it happens that because of our own drinking experience, you are uniquely useful to other alcoholics. More useful than a doctor. A lot of good, helpful doctors, don't get me wrong, but if you learn how to wield this sword, because the big book says with this book in hand, you can be helpful. So cooperate, never criticize. Be helpful is our only aim. When you discover a prospect for Alcoholics Anonymous, find out all you can about him. If he does not want to stop drinking, here you go, Tina, don't waste your time. Trying to persuade him. You may spoil a later opportunity. This advice can be given for his family also. We explain the allergy. We explain what's going on. We explain the strange mental blank spot. If they don't believe it or don't want it, you wait till they do. They should also be patient, realizing that we're dealing with a sick person. I spend a lot of time talking with families. If there is any indication that he wants to stop, have a good talk. Investigate if he is a real alcoholic and truly wants to stop. If he doesn't have what you have, he may truly not want to stop. He just may want the heat off his back. I got my wife up my spine. I lost my job. I drink too much, but I don't know if I want what you have. I don't know that I have what you have. When you talk about that strange mental blank spot, you're talking about a foreign language. All right, cool. On to the next. I think there's a book that says we kick the dust off our boots and move on to the next. There's lots of people waiting for what you have. Get an idea of his behavior, his problems, his background, the seriousness of his condition. If you look on the A side, the opposing side over there, there's a little note. Those are the behaviors. So when you're going to go approach a new man and talk to a new man, do a 12-step call or spend time with a newcomer, this is the pages we want to read. You need this information to put yourself in his place, to see how you would like him to approach you if the tables were turned. Dr. Bob said, it says that he read all sorts of spiritual things. Read the Bible cover to cover, Confucius, he read all sorts of things. I've read the Quran. I've witnessed to lots of men that have different beliefs than me. Do I try to take them out of their beliefs? No. No. Here's the truth about what my God says. Here's what your Bible, your Quran says about him. Here's where the two things don't reconcile. This is the one part that you're going to have to figure out if you want to find the one true God, because you're just a brother from another mother way back in time. Daddy had 2 wives. Well, one wasn't really a wife. But then my witness can be effective when I'm not trying to take away from somebody what they are. I don't want to try to get somebody to go home and try to convert their family and all that stuff. God will do that. My job is to throw seeds and cultivate soil. That's it. He'll prepare the soil and those men will come. And it's the funniest thing ever. You just see them walk into Christian life, talking like Christians, looking like Christians, and pretty soon, guess what? They become Christians. That's okay. If whatever their path is, whatever their journey is, I'm just going to be patient. I'm a patient farmer. You need this information. Okay, usually it is wise to wait until he goes on a bender. Timing is everything. A binge. The family may object to this, but unless he is in a dangerous physical condition, it is better to risk it. Don't deal with him when he is very drunk. Unless he is ugly and the family needs your help, wait for the end of his spree, or at least a lucid interval. Then let his family or friends ask him if he wants to quit for good, and if he would go to any extreme. There's the same question we ask in step 1. Do you really want to quit? Will you do anything? If he says yes, then his attention should be drawn to you as a person who has what? Recovered. It's important that you be viewed as a person who has recovered, been restored to health, walking upright, doing right, no other dependencies other than the Father. You should be described to him as one of a fellowship who is part of their own recovery, the process by which they get well. Try to help others who will be glad to talk to him if he cares to see you. Now it gives us the nevers, knows, don'ts. This is the things that we don't do. And this is the salt from earlier. If he does not want to see you, never force yourself upon him. Neither should the family hysterically plead with him to do anything, nor should they tell him much about you. Look at that. They should wait for the end of his next drinking bout. You might place this book where he can see it during the intervals. Oh, man, I tell you what, that works. Here we have no specific rule can be given. Okay, so I'm going to tell a story real quick about Scotty. I'm not going to burn too much time. His sister calls me. I'm about 90 or 120 days sober. Says, you got to help Scotty. I go, I don't know how to help Scotty. Well, you're sober. You're doing something. And I call my sponsor, and he tells me, go read the book to him. What are you talking about? So we get in his truck. He's driving this little Toyota. We're driving down the road, and I'm talking, because I've never read this. I'm talking. And he's listening. We get there. He stops the car. He goes, oh, that's great, Rick. Thanks. I go, well, you want this book? No, not really. It's okay. I'm glad it's helping you. Okay, Scotty, fine. I took the book, and I shoved it under his seat, and I got out of the car. Some months later, he gives me a call. We get together again. He's doing his third step that very next day, I believe, right? And that's kind of how it goes. Take the book, give them the book, let them read the book, wait for them to come back. Don't chase them. If they don't want what you have, that's okay. They may want it later. It ain't going to do anybody any good. All you're going to do is you're going to turn yourself into some kind of codependent behavior where they're calling you when they're in need or something. You want to get well? I'm not your wallet. I'm not your, therapist. I got this solution. I can give it to you. I will walk beside you. I will walk through the fires of hell with you. But you got to be willing to walk. You got to get up and walk. You got to do these things. And when we approach it that way, we end up getting people in our lives that want to recover. And then the fellowship grows up among us because we're walking with other people who have recovered that are on the same journey as us. And it's beautiful. We can't stay in the holy huddle, though. We got to get back out there and get to work. We're at 90 at 1? Really? Wow, okay. Don't waste time. Okay, trying to persuade him. They should be patient, realizing that you're dealing with a sick person. If there is any indication that he wants to stop, have a good talk with the person most interested in him, usually his wife. It tells us to go talk to their families. Get an idea of his behaviors, his problems, his backgrounds, the serious nature of his condition, and his religious learnings. Why would they be asking that? The same reason I read the Quran.
91.1. Where you at?
I'm on the wrong page. I went backwards. Now they're looking at me like deers in the headlights. I went backwards. See, I jumped in a rabbit hole and couldn't get out. Unfortunately, the family should not try to tell him your story. When possible, avoid meeting the man through his family. Approach him through a doctor or an institution is better yet. Good place to find them is at meetings. It's easy. If your man needs hospitalization, he should have it, but not forcibly unless he is violent. Let the doctor, if he will, tell him something in the way of his situation. When your man is better, the doctor might suggest a visit from you. Though you have talked with him, with the family, leave them out of the first discussion. Under these conditions, your prospect will see he is under no pressure. He will feel, like we do these interventions now, he will feel he can deal with you without being nagged by his family. Real alcoholics have problems with interventions, just to let you know. Call him while he is still jittery. He may be more receptive when depressed. See your man alone. If possible at first, engage in a general conversation. After a while, turn the talk to some phase of drinking. Tell him enough about your drinking habits and symptoms and experience to encourage him to speak of himself. If he wishes to talk, let him do so. You will thus get a better idea of how he ought to proceed. If he is not communicative, give him a sketch of your drinking career up to that time you quit, but nothing for the moment of how it was accomplished. If he is a serious mood, dwell on the troubles caused by liquor. So it's telling you 3 different moves, 3 different approaches. They're over on the other side. They're nailed right there in that paragraph in those 8 points. These are the moods that we find the alcoholic in. If his mood is light, tell him humorous stories and escapades. We hear those a lot in meetings. So you walk into a meeting and everybody's telling these funny stories about their drinking, and that guy's just in a different state of mind. He might bounce right off them. So we got to investigate when we meet with the man one-on-one and find out what mood they're in. How are they feeling at the moment? And adjust our talk. When he sees you know all about the drinking game, he commences to describe his drinking yourself as an alcoholic. Tell him how baffled you were and how you finally learned that you were sick. Give him an account of your struggles you made to stop. Show him, there it is, the mental twist which leads to the first drinking spree. Tell him about the strange mental blank spot. You cannot defend yourself against something you cannot remember. It is an impossibility. The key to unlocking a man from his alcoholism is in that. In the moment of temptation, he needs inspiration. How does it unfold itself? It's right there. It's the one thing we never talk about anymore, because it leads to a religious discussion. And maybe we're not so comfortable talking about God, the one true God. Show him the mental twist which led to the first drink of the spree. We suggest you do this as we have done it in the chapter on alcoholism. Boom, go back to it. If he is an alcoholic, he will understand you at once. Your man is going to relate to what you're telling him about the strange mental blank spot, the physical allergy, the obsession. Stay on that first step. Put your finger here, turn to the back of the book. There's As Bill Sees It, page 114, which is on. Guys, you know where it's at? Real quick. I know I'm going to run out of time. Where's the table of contents? All right. Page 311, please. Turn there real quick. Bill Wilson's going to describe this in a different way. Bill Wilson writes in a book that he later wrote called As Bill Sees It. He talks about that time that I described yesterday when he goes to the doctor and the doctor says, tell him about the disease. As Bill Sees It, page 114, 311. At first, the remedies to my personal difficulties seemed so obvious that I could not imagine any alcoholic turning a proposition down where it properly presented to him. If you just read that sentence, you'd think he was talking about the 12 steps. Believing so firmly that Christ could do anything. Here's Bill Wilson talking about Jesus again. I had the unconscious conceit, the ego and the pride, to suppose that he would do everything through me, right there and then in the manner I chose. Boy, that's how we feel when we're, woohoo, I got it all. After 6 long months, he went out preaching and evangelizing. I had to admit that not a soul had surely laid hold of the master. None except me. He goes back to Dr. Silkworth, and Dr. Silkworth says, tell him about the allergy. Tell them about the strange mental blank spot. Tell them about the obsession. That will get them to a place where they will hear your spiritual answer. If you lead with the spiritual answer, you're going to lose them. That's why they say don't come off as a reformer or evangelizing. A man has to know the hopeless nature of what he's dealing with and that there's no other way out. All right, headed back. 92-1, right? Oh, really? Huh. Continue. Now they're like taskmasters. Keep going. Continue to speak of alcoholism as a sickness, a fatal malady. Talk about the condition of the body and the mind. There we go. Physical allergy, obsession of the mind, which accompanies it. So they're saying it accompanies the queer mental position. Right above it talks about the spiritual malady as a queer mental condition, and here it talks about the mind and the body. You got to put them all 3 together. If you only give them 2 of them, you may not hit the ground. You're tilling the wrong soil. Keep his attention focused mainly on your personal experience. Explain that many are doomed who never realize their predicament. Doctors are rightly loath to tell the alcoholic patient the whole story unless it will serve some good purpose. But you may talk to him about the hopelessness of alcoholism because you have what? A solution, an answer. It's in the chapter called There's a Solution. We know the answer to the riddle. You will soon have your friends admitting he has many, if not all, of the traits of an alcoholic. Go to the page in here that talks about the real alcoholic. It's got all the traits. It's in the learning section. If his own doctor is willing to tell him that he is an alcoholic, so much the better. Even though your protege may not have entirely admitted his condition, he has become very curious to know how you got well. Let him ask you the question, if he will. If he does not ask, proceed with the rest of your story. Keep talking. Tell him exactly what happened. Now we're going to move into the spiritual part. Stress the spiritual feature freely. Does that sound like don't talk about God, you might scare away the newcomer? That sounds like you've got an answer, you better tell him. If the man is agnostic or atheist, make it emphatic that he does not have to agree with your conception, your understanding of something that actually is. You didn't create God, you only have a conception of him. The big book does not say you have your own concept of God. Two different words, two different meanings. Whatever a man's understanding is good enough to start walking in our direction. God will reveal himself. It's his business. He can choose any conception he likes, provided it makes sense to him. The main thing is that he be willing to believe in a power greater than himself and to live by spiritual principles. If you know what the spiritual principles are, go back to Bill's story on page 11. He tells us what they are. He tells us the creative intelligence of the universe is the minimum requirement of what we believe. So if your man is atheist or agnostic, is he willing to believe that there's a power greater than himself that is not bound by time and has no limit? That's just another way of saying the Logos, the Word of God. It's okay. A man can have whatever he wants. You don't need to have him on his knees making a prayer at that moment to receive the Holy Spirit. That may not be the path that God has for him in that moment, in that time. If it is, then get on your knees and pray. If it's not, proceed. Get him to step 3. He will come to beg you to know your God. Let's take a 2-minute break. Thank you.